Hey, welcome to Daily Faith today. My name is Philip Cameron, and I am so glad that you have passed our way today. Well, hasn't the world changed in a weekend? How different things look today than they did on Friday. The most horrendous attack that I've ever seen in my life. I was busy doing something, and someone said, Charlie Kirk's been shot. And I found a TV and literally the first part, and then I saw the whole event. And let me tell you something, that young man is a martyr, just as sure as anyone else was martyred in the past. And I didn't know him. To be honest with you, my thought process and thinking of Charlie Kirk was he was a Republican activist that goes to colleges and is trying to win some of the youth vote back for the Republican Party. That was the depth of my understanding of him. And in the last 4 days, I have spent hours and hours listening and learning about him. And let me tell you something. He was a minister. He was a preacher first. His gospel, the clarity of his gospel, that's what was resonating with the young people. That's what was moving young folk. And so I have been praying. We spoke yesterday in a local church, and 10 to 15 kids came to the Lord. And in your church, if you're a pastor, let me tell you something. You have an opportunity right now to share the gospel and reach out to this generation. My sons have been helping me just keep an eye on what's going on across social platforms. And there are hundreds upon hundreds of young people that are on TV saying, on Facebook or whatever social platform, I'm going to church. I'm going to start reading my Bible. I'm giving my life to Christ. Hundreds of them have made public testimony on these social platforms. I was watching last night at the Kennedy Center. They had a special service, a prayer and a gathering in honor of Charlie Kirk. And Robert F. Kennedy went up and he said, my niece is going to England. And her mom walked in to check her. She was packing her suitcase. And right on the top of Robert F. Kennedy's niece's suitcase, there was a Bible. And her mother, who was Robert Kennedy's sister-in-law, she said, what's the Bible for? And the young girl was going to London to study. She says, Mom, I'm going to start living like Charlie Kirk. That's the power of the moment. If you're a pastor, if you love Jesus, this is your moment to not be ashamed and to speak and proclaim the gospel. But if you're a youth pastor or a pastor of a church, out there just now there are millions of kids in the valley of decision, wondering, should I change my life? Should I be doing something different? And if the church is visionary enough to see this and opens its doors and calls out to these kids, hey, come here, we know this Jesus. We know Charlie Kirk's Jesus. We know that he's the answer. Don't be surprised if a whole bunch of kids walk in your door. It could revolutionize the church. The whole next generation of pastors and ministers and missionaries might be walking in through your door because of this tragedy. Let me tell you, what the devil means for evil, God turns for good. Every time the devil does something against you, whether it's in a national scale like Charlie Kirk or personally, in the day-to-day running of your life, the devil doesn't know when to stop. And he keeps pushing and keeps pushing. And he thinks, boy, I've got them on the run. I'm going to push some more. And then I'm going to push some more. And eventually, he pushes through you and hits God. And then God arises. And your enemies are scattered. And I'm believing God for America. But this is not just in America. This thing, they're having vigils all over the world. I believe on Saturday, there were 37 different countries in the world that are having prayer vigils, celebrating and remembering Charlie Kirk. On Saturday, there was a massive demonstration in London. 3 million people showed up against the socialist government and against illegal immigration and against Islam taking over Europe, which is happening. It's happening. most of the major cities of England are now run by Muslim mayors and Muslim councils. It's unbelievable. And the British people stood up, and all through these throngs, I watched it the whole day. I spent the whole day watching it. I was there in spirit. And all through these hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people marching with British flags. And the government, this stupid government, said, if you're not allowed to wave the flag. It's a political statement. Yes, it is. We're British. We're British, and we stand up for what we believe. But all through this throngs of people were people holding up Charlie Kirk's picture, chanting Charlie, Charlie, Charlie. And that's in a nation that has less than 1% people saved. If the church is smart enough to not nitpick and fight and put all the small stuff to one side and say, listen, this is an opportunity to use this disaster, and it's a disaster. There is no other voice in the right of politics that was so effective as Charlie Kirk. He sat with kids, thousands of kids, and let them come up to a microphone and ask him anything and disagree with him, and he wove the gospel into everything he spoke about. As I'm saying, until he was shot, I knew of him, but I didn't take time to know him, and I am absolutely blown away at the testimony of a 31-year-old man that spoke to young folk and says, don't have sex before marriage. Have lots of babies. Have more babies than you can afford. Your marriage is the most important thing. It's more important than a career. And it's what I've wanted to hear and what we haven't said. And we need to start saying it. And I intend to start saying it. So we're praying for his wife Erica and those two beautiful kids. She was astonishing how she spoke on TV, the calmness of only the comfort of the Holy Ghost can help that girl at this moment. And so take time to honor this young man. Speak about him to your young folk. Let them know that you know. Because most of they know, you just don't know. And you'll find that they love Charlie Kirk. In fact, I was speaking to my guest today. I've got a dear friend with me. You're going to love this man. He's doing incredible stuff in his church in a wee town in Mississippi. But he is reaching young folk like I've rarely seen. And his youth pastor knows about him, and his kids know about him. And it's just astonishing how many people know who young folk. And I think it's a moment that we can either succumb to the sorrow and the anger of it. I've been as mad as a bear this weekend. So angry the devil got to do this. But let me tell you, God's in control. God knows. And we've got to speak clearly and talk the truth, because our young folk are not interested in all of the plastic stuff that the church lives with. Get all that stuff out of the way and be real with these young folk, and you'll win them for Jesus. Well, there you go. I'm off my soapbox now. I'm delighted to have you with us. We're going to have a great program. Greg Huguley is with us today, and he will bless you. He comes from Amory, I think it is, Amory. I'll have to find out from him. I'm a Scotsman, what do I know? He comes from a tremendous church called Forward Church. Great church. You're going to love this program. I'm delighted you're with us. Welcome to Daily Faith. Hey, I'm Philip Cameron. Welcome to Daily Faith. I'm delighted to have you with us. We have a mission work in a country called Ukraine and Moldova. We've been doing this for 35 years. It'll blow your mind. What happens with us is we take kids in that are at risk of being trafficked, and we share the gospel with them. And these kids that have come from the most hellacious backgrounds find Jesus and are turned into missionaries. And these kids are out on the highways and byways preaching the gospel. It's the most amazing thing. If the trafficker gets one of these girls, they're worth $300,000 a year to the trafficker. So if he can find 3 girls, he's making $1 million a year. And a McDonald's Happy Meal and a beating and some drugs keeps them controlled. And it's an easy way for them to make it. It's one of the biggest industries in the world today. And we've got this amazing place in the city of Kishinev called Vatra Village. It's a village of 6 homes right on the lake you're looking at right now. And our kids come to that place. We put them back in school, and that becomes a hub, a center of outreach. And all across Moldova during the summertime, we have youth camps. In the wintertime, we go and we minister to widows and broken families. And every girl you're looking at right now, if the trafficker could get her, she'll be worth $300,000. We've just taken in over 20 of brand new kids. And they sent us a video of girls coming into Vatra Village for the very first time. Watch this. The Bible says, "Come unto me, all ye that are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest." And those kids come to us with a small bag. Sometimes they come with nothing at all. Broken from horrendous family situations, abuse like you can't even comprehend. Knowing that they are worth $300,000 a year, and someone will offer them a bogus job in Germany or Italy or whatever, and they get in the back of a car and they're gone forever. They're used 30 to 50 times a day until there's nothing left of them. And we have an amazing opportunity. We have a home in Odessa, Ukraine, right in the middle of the war. We have a home with beautiful girls there that we protect. My wife Chrissy and I were coming back from Moldova one time, coming through immigration in Atlanta. And the immigration officer said, "Where have you been?" I said, "Moldova." And he was about to stamp my passport, and he stopped and he says, "Where?" I says, "Moldova." He says, "Man, this is insane. This is crazy." And I thought, wow. He says, I've just been transferred up from the Caribbean. He says, and we intercepted a container ship, and one of the containers had 38 Moldovan girls sent from Ukraine, from Odessa, Ukraine. And I was stunned. And Chris and I, my wife, went out without the baggage claim, and we're standing, and my mind was just spinning. And she says, "Are we going to Ukraine?" I said, "Yes, we are." And I went straight back. I went straight back to Ukraine. and found a beautiful home. And our kids there are safe, and they can hear the bombs go off in Odessa. And we are on a hair trigger to get them out. We've got a van that's continually filled with diesel, that if the Russians land and Odessa's it's called the Pearl of the Black Sea. It's the most beautiful city you've ever seen. It's being destroyed every day. It's horrendous. But if the Russians land, they'll land on the beach. And we have a van that is full of diesel, as I'm telling you right now, pointing out of the driveway. They won't even have to reverse out. They'll drive straight out and get on the road up to Moldova, Chisinau, to where Vatra village is. And so we need you to pray for protection over our kids. We've just taken in these 50 girls, and what happens, my wife here in America makes great big Rubbermaid tubs. And in those tubs is a whole wardrobe: winter clothes, winter shoes, winter boots, jeans, underwear, makeup, umbrellas, everything they need. And they have a party called a welcome home party. And kids that have been abused and beaten have never heard a kind word. The video you just saw, the house mother walked in with the girls. Her name is Galina. I found her 15 years ago, and she had never, ever been hugged, cuddled one time. I gave her her very first hug. And now she's married with a couple of kids. And to watch her now do for others, which we did for her. We need your help. We are growing. We're about to open 2 new homes for little kids between the age of 4 and 16. Our girls are from 16, Vatra villages from 16 onwards. And a horrendous thing happened to us. We took a young girl in at 14 because of the uniqueness of the abuse in our family. And they found out that we had an underage girl, and they made us put her back to the village where she came from, and she was gang raped. And her name is Maria. And God challenged us through that pain to get these houses that you're looking at right now. These fancy beds and stuff will be gone. We'll change the colors of it. But this piece of property has about 15 acres of land, and there's 2 homes and a barn. And that great barn you see in the background, we're going to turn into a youth camp. And we're looking for folks. We are in the process of buying it as we speak. We need folk to help us. If you could give us a one-time gift, a capital gift, that would be marvelous. But there are 2 homes. We need 300 people to send $1 a day to help us keep these buildings open and allow us to open them for the gospel and rescue 50 kids. If I could take you there to these houses and say to you, for $1 a day, I can save 50 little boys and girls and keep them safe from alcoholic fathers that beat them and do worse than that. If I could say I could do all of this for $1 a day, I know you would. If I can find 300 people, there's 2 houses. If I can find 300 people to give $1 a day, it will give us the ability to open these houses, hire new house parents, buy new vehicles, start the whole process over again. This is in a different part of Moldova. I just need you, please, I need you to pray. You can help us. You can make a check out to the Orphans' Hands. That's the name of our mission organization, the Orphans' Hands. P.O. Box 25 in Clinton, Tennessee, 37716. You can also call us. There's a live, real person, not a bot, not an AI person, a real person waiting to take your call, 833 Daily Faith. Just dial 833 Daily Faith, spell out Daily Faith on your phone, and it will ring and someone will say, thank you for calling Orphans' Hands. And you can say, I want to be one of the people that Philip's talking about right now, and I would like to give $1 a day. We could do this today. There's enough people watching this program or will watch this program as it's being replayed. You can change a life for $1 a day. And please pray and ask God to help these kids that come to us so broken. Oh, you've no idea. You have no idea the tales they tell us of where they've come from. And God has put us there. And God has put us here in your life to change there. So let the Lord speak to you if you would. And if you would like to give a one-time gift to help us buy these buildings, just to buy the buildings and the barn and the land is $600,000. And that's not finishing the buildings. Let the Lord speak to your heart. I'm delighted to have this great friend. We've known Greg for many, many years. And he has a church in Amory, Mississippi, I think. That's how you pronounce it, Amory, Mississippi. The Forward Church. It is fabulous. It is a rocking, packed house every time they open the doors. And Greg is with us. Greg, thank you for joining Daily Faith today, my brother. Tell us what God's doing amongst your young folk.
Well, thank you so much for having me, man. Like you said, I think first time I met you was probably about 1993 or 4.
Oh my goodness, we're getting old.
So we've been friends ever since.
Yes, we have.
We love what you guys do, and thank you for what you do with the orphans'
we
hands.
love it.
It's been amazing. But yeah, man, we're just thrilled about what God's doing. We had a big youth service last night, well, a once a year thing, had over 300 students there just worshiping the Lord. I believe the last I heard 40 teenagers gave their life to Jesus. So
I love it. and explain, how big a town is Amory?
Amory is about 6,500 people.
So you got 300 kids out of 6,500 people in your church last night. Yeah. That is ridiculous.
About 650 of them come to have about around 600 people
in church
on Sundays. Yeah,
that's just amazing. So, you imagine if you're watching from a big city, what kind of church that would be if you were in a city of 3 million. It would be one of the biggest churches in the world. And this man, because of his passion and his lovely wife, he's got an amazing wife, Traci, and they are killing it. They are doing amazing things for God in that little wee town. God's put something in your heart, and I really believe that this is a season with this Charlie Kirk thing happening. God caused you to write a book, and a lot of times when we are living our lives and developing as a church, as individuals, God calls us to do something, but a lot of times the vision is lost because we don't know what to do and we don't know how to act and how to carry ourselves in the calling. And you've written a book which I think is really important. And if you're watching today, get a pen, a piece of paper, or text it. See, I'm an old guy. I'm still a pen and paper guy. All of you all are looking for your phone because I'm a dinosaur. That's what I am. But you've written a book called Dear Young Preacher. And tell us what God's caused you to write there.
This has been going on for probably 3 years. And, just thoughts would come to me about ministry, pastoring, and different things like that. And I would jot those things down. And over the years, there's quite a few of them. So I put them all together in a book. Just one real quick starts out, Dear Young Preacher, if God has promised you a ministry, don't birth an Ishmael. You'll have opportunities to birth the ministry in the flesh, or you can wait on the promise.
Boy, that is
so just practical advice for young men. Because when I started out, I looked for any empty building anywhere around to start a church in. And if it had not been for my wife, I would have probably done that and missed the opportunity that God had for me.
The good is always the enemy of the best.
Yes.
That's for your next
Absolutely.
book. Use that next. And what happens is in life, and I mean the same thing, I have had some ridiculous opportunities in my life. I could tell you some that you would not believe in a million years. And God shut the door. God stopped it. Yeah. And if I'd been left up to my own devices, my ego would have thought, one of them, I was told by many people that there was a nationwide ministry that had gone into trouble, and I was there literally raising the funds to keep it alive. I was the spiritual point of it, and folks started coming up and saying, famous preachers were coming up, calling me and saying, God, show me that this, and God protected me from what I wanted. And
Yeah.
boy, that is so true.
Yeah.
Ishmael's.
S- the same thing. I was sending a resume to a church. I'm not going to call the name of the town, but I live here. But anyway, uh, and they would not interview me for the job because of I let my license with the organization lapse because I was in a different direction, and I was in the process of getting my license back to go to that church, and it was just closed door after closed door, and out of nowhere, I get a call from the same town saying, "Hey, we need a pastor." And I met with them, and we've been here 14 years, different church, same town,
Yeah,
different church. And, it's like God
that's
closed the
crazy.
door to where I thought I
Yeah,
was supposed to go
yeah.
and opened the door to the right
And
place.
I often find that the devil, if the devil can't discourage you, he'll distract you. The
Mm,
end result
for
is the
sure.
same. If
Yeah.
the devil can make you run down rabbit trails, he'll keep you running down rabbit trails all day and all night. I mean, he doesn't care. He doesn't care how he stops you. He just will stop you. And rabbit
Yeah.
trails, sometimes he will divert you, because it's less trouble to be diverted than it is to be confronted. And he'll
Yeah.
just he'll
Yeah.
just
That's
nudge you
good.
off somewhere and get you busy on stuff. And my mother, the good is always the enemy of the best.
Yeah.
And whenever something good comes along into your life, remember we were writing new chapters in this book on the program today. Whenever something good comes along, don't just jump, don't grab it and say, "Oh, wait a second, wait." They that wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They're the ones that are going to fly.
Hmm.
The ones that have the discipline. A waiting is a someone standing at the table with a white over his arm waiting for you. That's how we've got to wait on the Lord, and that's
Yeah.
how we fly.
Yeah. Well, the waiting is not wasted for sure.
Never.
And to wait for God to open the right door is, it's like you said, that, you could even be happy doing a ministry that you birth out of your flesh, but you're never going to be fulfilled
No.
like you will if you'll wait on the Lord to open the right doors. That's for sure.
Anything
And
that you
thankfully,
start, anything that you start by yourself, you've got to maintain by yourself.
oh, that's for sure.
And
That's
that's a
for
lot of
sure.
work.
That's right. But yeah, we've been here 14 years, and it's just it's been great, man. I'm telling you, God is blessed us with some of the best people in the world, and we have 6 people on full-time staff,
That's
and
crazy.
we've got all the right people on the right seats of the bus. Our worship leader, student pastor, kids pastors, they're all we believe the ones that God ordained to be here. And it's like when you get all that in place with the right people,
And that really,
it
that's something that we don't talk about. The days of it being a one-man show is long since gone. That bus has left the station. You are
listen,
only as good as the weakest member in your team.
it if you if you will choose not to have millions of dollars in the bank and invest that in your staff,
Yeah,
the church will go forward and God will take care of the need. But and we've done that, and I learned that from my pastor. Don't worry about having a stockpile of money sitting in the bank, invested in people, and because you do that, then people's going to come to your church. So it all works out.
absolutely.
But you can't neglect, like you said, a one man show. It would be sad if I had to do it all by myself.
Isn't that the
You
truth?
know, what's the saying? One man can successfully pastor 80 people. I think it's less than that now.
Yeah, I mean,
The day we're living in, I think it's less than 80
as needy
people.
as needy as folk are these days.
Yeah, maybe 5 people.
Yeah,
No,
maybe
but
five. Yeah,
yeah, but it's been good, and yeah, Amory, like I said, it's about 6,500 people, and God's just blessed, man. We're right in the middle of a couple of larger cities, but it's been good. Now I say larger. Now larger don't mean the same here as it does other places. When I
I've
say
been there.
larger, I'm talking 15, 20,000
Yeah.
people.
But it's amazing how God puts you, the old saying, bloom where you're planted. A lot of people want to tell God where they want to be planted.
Yeah.
And he said, I'll build my church. He's going to build this church. And the gates, what we were to do is to get in sync, in timing. When Samson, when Delilah said to Samson, the Philistines be upon you, the Bible says that Samson shook himself as at other times. And that was almost, it's a musical reference, that he got himself in tune with the Lord again. And a lot of times in our lives, God does he does the planting. We don't plant. He plants. We bloom and blossom. And to find that place of in the right place at the right time, that's when the blessing of God begins to be poured out. And I want give me the name of this book again, because I want to put your address up on the screen and let folk know how to get a hold of it. It's available on Amazon. It's called Dear Young Preacher. I don't think we've got a copy to show the folk. There you go. Yes, we do. There it is, Dear Young Preacher. It's a red cover, and you can see it there. You can go on Amazon right now and buy it. And let me suggest something to you. If you have a young pastor, a young minister that you know of, it would be a tremendous, timely gift to give him this book and say, listen, I was with a guy on Facebook or TV the other day, and they were talking about this, and I thought it'd be a good thing for you, just for information purposes. And if one of these thoughts sink in and change the pastor's or the preacher's life, it is the greatest investment you've ever made in anyone's life. And so I honor you for writing this. Now, how do we get in contact with you guys at Forward Church? Put up the address there. It's Forward Church. It's on Cotton. What a great place to be. We're on Cotton Gin Port Road in Amory, and it's and the website is forwardchurchms for Mississippi.com. And I just feel that God is going to use this book to focus young folk. We're just watching these terrible events with Charlie Kirk, 31 years of age, and the world has paused. So if you're watching just now and you're a young man, a young woman that God's calling into the ministry, equip yourself. Get a book like this to give you some frames of reference, how to act and how not to act, when to speak and when not to speak. Know your place. Know my dad. I traveled with my dad, Greg, and he would say to me, if there's pastors there, and I'll try and speak a 15-year-old boy, and he would say, Philip, shh, not a novice. In front of all the pastors, shh, not a novice. Yeah. And I'd be whipped like a whipped dog in the corner. Thank God he did, because it taught me and trained me how to honor men in authority and how to my place in authority. Yeah,
I pastored the first church I ever pastored. I'd only been a Christian 4 years.
Oh my goodness!
So had not preached anywhere except the home church where I got saved a few Wednesday nights. And so I was really green, spent almost 5 years there doing that. And the Lord dealt with me that I need to step away and learn. So I was able to do that and serve as a student pastor for almost 10 years under someone that I feel like had a lot of wisdom, and I learned a lot, and of course would not be here where I am today had that not happened. So the progression, if you don't follow the progression, so this book is out of all these years of learning.
Yeah.
Wow. So learning stuff that I had to learn, nobody told me, so I had to learn it. But a lot of things like comparison, comparing your church to somebody else's church, or that kind of stuff, and it'll wear you out.
Deadly.
It's deadly. Yeah.
I came to America when I was 13 with my dad and traveled with him, and my education came from one of the greatest men of God I've ever known in my life, And I was trained by Simon Peter Cameron, and now as an old man myself, thank God for it. I've been in the ministry for 56 years now, and so I need to be writing a book about this as well. Listen, Greg, our time's gone. Thank you so much for being with us today. I pray blessing upon your church. If you're anywhere near Amory, Mississippi, you need to find Forward Church. And I'll promise you this, these guys will blow your mind with their worship, with their ministry. And if you've got a young person looking for somewhere to go and get plugged into Holy Ghost kids, this is the church. Thank you for being with me today, Greg. God bless you. Tell Traci I said hello. And we'll see you all again on Daily Faith. Thank you for watching us. God bless.
For over 25 years, the Cameron family has been changing the lives of orphans in Romania and Moldova. From providing running water, flushing toilets, and clean wells, to coal for heat, new windows, as well as food and clothing, they champion the physical needs of the orphans in these broken and desolate countries. Many of Moldova's orphans are saved from the horrors of trafficking through homes founded by the Camerons, and in the process, orphans become daughters and sons. They come to know their Heavenly Father and are forever changed by the love of Jesus. God help the Camerons lift these amazing young men and women out of darkness. Now, no longer orphans, they want to return and invade that very same darkness with the light of Jesus Christ. The Orphan's Hands equips these daughters and sons to become missionaries. Your monthly gift of $31 will allow us to rescue and take in more girls and boys, saving them from the hell of human trafficking. Your monthly partnership will allow us to care for those in the Orphan's Hands homes in Moldova and the Ukraine. If you want to join Philip and Chrissy in taking care of these precious young people, please contact us today by calling 833-DAILY-FAITH. You can also give by going online to www.dailyfaith.tv or by writing to Post Office Box 25, Clinton, Tennessee 37716. So many lives depend on what we do. Thank you for loving the lost.